All right, just checking my audio, video, and then we're going to be starting while people can jump in. And if you're online, somehow give me your, I've opened the chat. Just give me a sign that you are
All
here.
right, just
Okay.
checking my audio,
Okay, there we go.
video. Yep.
There we go. Just give me a shout out, and the chat is also opened. All right. So welcome to today's episode, Unlocking Emotional Mastery, and we are on episode number 52, and we are going to be dwelling more into decision making. And this time, the angle is to make the decision to relieve you from stress. So, how can you really make that kind of decisions which can help you come out of your stress? Because understand that the choices that we are making in everyday life, it is not to overwhelm you, right? Because by the time you come out of the overwhelm or you figure out what is even happening to you, the time, the time will be taken off or the opportunities will be gone. So what you essentially need before you want to take any decision is the calm mindset. So only the calm minds can make the clearest choice. Do you believe in this? Have you seen such examples around you? Then today we will dive into understanding how to master the stress to make to enable you to make that stress-free decisions for you to become smarter and more confident in life, in work, or in business, or in family. Okay, so that is what is the angle today, and you are actually listening to a series where we are, helping you to boost your emotional quotient using brain skills. So, which means we are trying to talk about and activate your left brain and right brain and the midbrain by using different strategies, different hacks. In fact, we will do a case study. We will pick up their brains. I mean, the people who have modeled it, who have successful in their expertise in business or any initiatives that they have gone through using this brain power. That is what we will see how those people are able to life. Life is common. I mean, we go through common problems. Despite of it, everybody goes through adversities also. How do they bounce back like a pro? And how, despite of having all these adversaries, how do they achieve what they wanted in life? And how do they maintain such calm mindset during that high pressured situations? So that is the angle we will see today, and we're going to grab those strategies, and we'll see how much we can absorb in our relationship, not just relationship, in business and work. We'll also angle it or focus it in different aspects of life. How can we apply this calm mindset before decision making? How do we apply this in parenting, in relationship, in finance planning? Because that's where it's a heated up argument, right? That's where it's even more stressful for an individual or for as a team you're working at office. You need to be aware of the budget. You need to be operating within that, especially as a business entrepreneur. Talking about finances is is always stressful. Okay. And how do we look at calmness during decision making as an entrepreneur? And we'll pick up the personalities who will best suit to our real time examples. Okay, with that note, I share the PPT and we'll see what we have got today. How to make better decisions with less stress. So that's the angle we will be taking, and we will be discussing about how what are the techniques that we can make use of while you want to make such calm decisions, but you also want to make sure that outcomes are at your desires, right? What if you are able to um, take that kind of a right choices, not leaving any residue? That is the whole point. You don't leave any impact emotionally or mentally or physically or even financially. It should not be biting you. It should not be crunching you. If that is so, then your decisions are good. So appropriately taking decisions is what we are aiming at. We need not be perfect, and there are no perfect decisions. Life itself is an evolving thing, and we evolve, we learn from our mistakes. Okay, from our own choices, we will learn from the mistakes. We would like to look at the past trend, we will review it, and we will take any improvement areas. We'll work on it, adapt ourselves for future. That's how we keep. But in the during the process of decision making, one should not lose their cool. And it is counterintuitive, right? It is he's easier than said. But today we will see all those strategies where we can still follow that. Not every time, it's like not every time you're on fire. That means you're like you will anyway get burnout. So life is ups and downs, low intense and high intense. So we better practice all these techniques when it is in the low intense level. By the time you hit that ceiling level and it becomes high intense in your life, you would have developed your skill set. So it'll all come to your rescue when you practice it. But it needs first awareness, application, and consistent practice on a daily basis. Okay. On that note, we'll see how we are going to practice making use of the skill. Okay. Now, when we go by definition, what we want to look at is, again, using your logical brain, how it is allowing you to get that calm mindset before decision, making choices, or during that choice making. Your left brain is enabling you to structure and analyze to break that decisions into manageable parts. So that means you're breaking the complexity. So this is the job of your left brain. If only you allow your left brain to work on this note. And then what happens is the right brain picks it up, and by tapping into all that emotion, intuition cues, non-verbal cues, signals, whatever universe gives you, whatever life gives you, whatever people around you gives you, whatever your own emotion tells you, you're going to pick up all those cues and align it to choices. Yesterday, we did a beautiful episode on how you're going to align your decision making with that of your core values. Okay, if you have not watched it, I would highly recommend you to do so. And if you have still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so that you will get notified whenever I come online. So you're going to touch upon the previous episode to see how core values can be aligned. And with that, then what you're going to do is you're just going to read the cues in you and in your decision making, whether you got aligned with your core values and then only taken the decision or not. But when you do so, when you're aligning your core values itself, you get that calmer effect. You get satisfied at least. You won't have a resentment. At least no regrets will be there. You were you were authentic when you had taken that choice. So that itself will reduce the intensity. Okay. These are hacks. Okay. These are something that it is untold advantage. If you apply this way, then it becomes easier. It becomes seamless for you. But you need to be hearing these things, okay? This is called awareness building. Once you are able to gain that kind of an awareness, you're going to apply it. Only then you will get experience. And with your experience is where you're getting insights. It is coming from inside, okay? That means you have applied it. So whether it is failure or success, it's going to be inside. And that is where it is coming as an insight. So similarly, you will be insightful in every situations and every transactions you deal with your life. So what could be the advantages if you are practicing this way? One, you will be stress-free, right? Um, first of all, it is going to increase the clarity. If you're approaching in a way where you're getting enough enough awareness, and if you are taking decisions based on, it's an informed decision because you have made your research, you did not leave any stone unturned. That means you are right now confident that you're taking the right direction, whether it is for you or it is for your family or it is for your business or at work also. So that clarity is important. So focusing on making better decisions without being clouded by stress, that means you gain your clarity. And then right now we are all in mental health pandemic. So which means taking care of your mental well-being is very, very important. Wherever it is possible, if you can reduce your stress level, it's going to take care of your overwhelming situations. It will prevent you to become overwhelmed. That itself is a great help you're doing for your emotional well-being. Thereby, it will give you that bandwidth of time, energy, focus, where you can confidently take action. Everything is connected. So for you to get the clarity, which is a clear advantage, you need to gain awareness, first of all, for which you need to be learning and upgrading and networking. At least your research should be so expansive that you club everything, okay? And then your mental health effect because you're able to be clearly taking decisions, you will not be clouded with the judgments, biases anywhere. Even when you're stuck, you're going to be bouncing back because you're clear-headed, and you're going to prevent that overwhelm in you. Thereby, you're enhancing your confidence level. And then the potential drawbacks, because we are dealing with brain skills development, you need to also understand the more you work on any particular skill. For example, you're trying to, develop yourself as a good decision maker by putting in, insights of how to build a calm mindset, and or how do you align with your core values and all that. By the time you want to develop, your brain is allowing you to focus on that area. Too much of you dwelling in that area only. For example, yesterday we spoke about aligning to your personal values. What happens if you're too aligned, too attached to your values only, and you want only decision making made based on your values? You're going to get hurt because not everything or not every people you interact and transact are going to have the same values. You will have misalignment of values, whether it is happening within you or outside you. Totally. Within you, if you are having it, you can, if it's in your control, you can always course correct it. But if it is a mismatch with people values, other people's values, either you can, talk to them openly, you can work on converging. If it is not possible, you just have to let it go and make it happen. Okay, sometimes things won't happen in your way. So that's always why 80-20 principle will always work. 80% you can work and work it out, but 20% you have to give the life to take it over. So that way, the potential drawbacks that we will see during this process is oversimplification of that risk. You may think you're going to break down all the complexity and you will work in terms of breaking only, but not able to take action. So it is not the only process of oversimplifying. It is also about how you're taking risk and just going with it. Okay, some decisions might feel less critical without pressure. Okay, there you cannot be sitting and simplifying. You know what? I'm working on the skill. I want to simplify this. Maybe there is no problem. It is already simplified. You see how your brain is, tricking us, right? Because it thinks that it is so comfortable in doing so. Maybe you've got good results, which is okay. There is an outcome, but that outcome should not give you a comfort zone to dwell on it more. Because of which, what is going to happen is you're going to lose your time. There's going to be limited urgency only. Reducing the stress, sometimes it might be a loss of effort, time, resources, money, or whatever it is. But the other side is by you working too much on this particular skill. I always say, brain, we're talking about left brain, this is my left side and this is my right side. While we are working on these both to be activated and to bring it in mid portion, because that is where you're emotionally intelligent, taking a blend of both logic and emotional. You have to make sure if you're a right brain driven person, if you already have your strength here, don't go too much on it. If you're a left brain driven person, you're too logically analytical, maybe it is working good for you. I mean, your critical thinking definitely helps. Your proactivity definitely helps. Your problem solving could definitely helps. But then make sure that you take the blend of this. If you go too much, for you to travel back to the mid portion, that's where you will open up to the other side of your brain at all. That's going to be difficult. So in essence, what is happening here is, if you overdo on this particular skill set of only simplifying and only making sure it is not having stress, sometimes there is good stress also, okay, which will push you to take actions. You have to be aware of it. The second drawback would be limited urgency. Reduced stress may lessen the sense of urgency for time-sensitive decisions. Sometimes we assume that we are reducing stress. As I already said, there is good stress and bad stress. You just cannot get rid of stress at all in your life. And if you are avoiding the good stress, it is not putting you in the sense of urgency mode. You will lay back and you will be comfortable. You will be a procrastinator. And that is the start of it. And then it requires practice. So stress-free decision making is not always natural. It requires practice. It is time consuming. But once you get this into your habit, that is why I say first is awareness, application, and consistency. It has to be a daily effort. Then let's ask why stress-free decision making is all important. Do you see its importance in your life? I just want you to quickly, you know, um, Take a quick self check in, trying to understand, is it really helping you? What happens when you don't have it? First of all, you're going to have rushed decisions. Okay, because stress itself is giving you that, while you're working on sense of urgency, then a lot of things on your plate, you're feeling rushed. The other person is also feeling rushed. It's not going to be impactful, right? It's going to cause a ripple effect of work and life, right? What is the benefit if you have it? Calming decision making can lead you to have better choices and increased control. When you have the control in your hand, that gives you a lot of power. When you know that you have a control of your time, then your emotions, and then your money, and then your people, then your transaction, then you become a powerful person. And that is what we are aiming to build. But then it requires practice. You don't get to do this overnight, or just because you're watching this episode, you won't become that way. The aim is to put you into practice so that you become that. You're not working for that, you become that. Okay. So statistically, what is happening is the stress impact. 77% of people experience stress affecting their own decision making. Consequently, stress leading to lower productivity and poor life satisfaction. Okay. Who benefits from stress-free decision making? Busy moms, of course. This is dedicated to busy moms, the series. Balancing work and life pressure is a little bit huge for for a mom who's juggling not only the work, the family. If they have a toddler, that's a different world altogether. And then the family work, family demands, kitchen work. It's a day-to-day process. Then there could be travel, there could be adversaries, and you need to be proactive to take a daily choices, and as well as plan proactively for the tomorrow or for the long-term success. It is true for with anybody. It's not just busy moms, it could be busy dads also, as long as they are caretaker of many roles. Okay. Sometimes it is so that they may be having a high stake a profession also, very important leadership roles. So you need to juggle. And for entrepreneurs, it is a, it is a taken every day. They have to meet out the expectations of the customers, their own process, profit and balances, at the same time, government regulations, market turndowns, their team dependencies, so many things that they have to handle. Apart from this world, they have another world called family. There could be travel in it, or there could be some dependency created. So not just this, not the individual, the adult only. It's also the stress and the decision making power is also needed for a student who's aiming for excellence in academics and as well as career choices. So everybody needs to make choices, and they need these kind of techniques. Okay, because we are heading to mental health pandemic, and it is vital to keep ourselves upgraded and in track. Let's talk about where and all we can apply this. If you know where you want to apply, then it'll be easy, right? So let's talk at work. Do you need to have a stress-free decision making or not? We all need it, right? What if we have that necessary power? It'll be nice to have that kind of a skill. Okay. So you will naturally be seen as a leader because you're able to be cool while you're getting things done, and your choices are very effective. When somebody sees like this, you're a most demanded potential in the organization. You will be given extra, responsibility, and you will be advancing in your career. So what you're going to do is two steps. You're going to break down the complexities. Always remember, how can you break it down? Chunk it down. Professionals can avoid burnout by analyzing the tasks systematically, and thereby you're going to improve the team efficiency. Managers who can delegate tasks based on structured analysis will definitely be able to save their own time, energy, and emotions. If they are cool enough and if they have everything in control, then they will be able to manage the team also effectively well. If they cannot say no, if they take everything as it comes, and they stretch themselves, their time, their energy, their focus, everywhere it is scattered, then they're not going to be efficient, not just for their individual goals. The project also will not be successful. Their team morale will get hit. Okay. The key sauce here is to say no. We do not know. We have not been taught effectively enough to say no. But then just by saying no, we should not ignore or deny the possibilities, both in terms of life or at opportunities comes everywhere, right? Whether it is business, work, or in family. Any daily choices you need, suppose you're standing in the queue and you're stuck with your own personal value, then no, you're not going to skip the queue and all that is fine. But if you realize there is somebody else is selling the ticket in another corner, maybe to avoid the crowd or to reduce the rush, maybe they are opening up another queue. Suppose you assume, no, I've been standing in this line and I stand and people have been standing before me. I can't, what do you call, force myself before them and I grab my tickets. No, it is a possibility for you to, because it's called, see, book smart and street smart. Okay. Street smart doesn't mean that you're going to, crush all your core values or you're going to disrespect others and go. No, it's the same shopping center, or you're standing in a queue where you're waiting for the tickets to come in, but they're starting another line. Okay. If you see that there's a possibility, you can always go because they are calling you for that. Okay. So now these are very radical example, right? These are practical also. These are something which comes to our knowledge and daily practices. But if you don't break it down, the complexity, and you cannot simplify the thinking process, then you will be stuck with, getting into complexity after complexities. Okay. So the next one is application on parenting and financial planning. Okay, let's see one by one. Now, in parenting, what are you going to do is you're going to apply evaluating options together. Okay, when I say, see, for example, you're going to take time before, if you want to cut your stress, what you need to do is, first of all, chunking, breaking down the complexity will help. Delegating helps. Saying no to help. Sometimes looking out for opportunities also help, meaning you should be open to see that. And then evaluating, in parenting, there are involvement of people, right? Okay. Unlike the work, there is process and people. But in parenting, most of it deals with people's emotions. If you can address the emotional need, then the process that you want to set after that becomes seamless. So what you're going to do is you're going to evaluate the options together. You're going to take time to discuss activities with your child, okay? Such as choosing some, practice sessions after school, especially when you have a child and when you want to, decide on extracurricular activities, you're going to set aside a time to discuss their, considerations. Maybe considering the schedule, the cost, the child's interest, more importantly, the child's interest and the long-term aspect of it. And then comes to your cost, your budget, your accessibility. I mean, you need to be also present. How much can you arrange and adjust your schedule? All that have to be taken care. There are so many movable parts. So based on that, you're going to evaluate the options and then you can prioritize and give importance. Okay, this one suits better. And then this one is plan A, plan B and all that. Thereby, you're taking an informed choice. You are not only taking, you're actually informed the child. Because when the child is informed, the performance from the child will be much less stressed. Okay, I've seen this in my real time. The moment I inform my child about any decisions, she's at least prepared. Whether she likes it or not, she'll give it a shot because she gets the privilege of being informed earlier. Okay, if this is the core value in your family, with your family member, it could be a child or it could be an adult. Please honor that because that becomes easy. The moment you satisfy their values, then it becomes easy to be a stressful, living. And then you can implement with confidence because your child is backed up. She or he is reassured, and thereby they will also reassure in your decision making. Make sense? Okay. Then application and financial planning. I told you this is the most stressful discussion anybody can have. Okay. How can we reduce the stress there? The first step is long-term financial wellness. First of all, any options we take, there are so many options for us to invest and for us to save also. We don't know where we are spending. The money just drains off. By the time we get into the first of every month, you don't know where the money flies. So you need to bring these components. You need to work with aligning your core values, and make sure that you're looking for a long term. Okay. You're going to create a comprehensive financial roadmap by methodically evaluating retirement goals, for example, or any diversifying investment and optimizing saving plans. You should also start looking at the patterns. If those patterns are not serving you, then you might want to change it. So there has to be a track also, and review and adjust. So it is all should be backed up by your values and logical structuring. Okay, that is how, I mean, obviously, when you structure, you're going to align it to the long-term benefit. That is how you're going to align, and with some amount of risk tolerance and lifestyle goals also to be taken care. Because we are talking about future investment, there could be a lot of things. Inflation has to be taken care, market turndowns, government changes, so many things can happen. Okay. Then strategic major investments. So if you have a long-term investments, okay, we're going to do this way. You're going to approach significant purchases. Uh, it could be buying a home or a car. Even car is a good long-term purchase. But of course, it's a liability. But then it's more. I'm talking about the luxury cars. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a detailed evaluation matrix. Okay, we all do this, but make sure that you give a proper structure. Okay, like I said, understand the patterns first of all. Even before you get into any kind of a goal, align it with your core value. Do you have a long-term goals already set? You see what are your strength and what is your spouse strength. You converge there, and then you see the long-term benefits for your children, and thereby you started evaluating the options. And in that options, you're going to have a metrics as to what is the cost, what is the accessibility, what is the resources involved, what is the time involved, effort, and all that. Okay, these are all the metrics. And then you're going to also do a research with market trends and also considering the future government regulations or anything which comes on your way. And thereby, you're also going to take an expert tips. Okay, before jumping into any conclusion, decision making, you obviously will talk to your peers or any advisors, trusted advisors inside your family or outside. Okay, you're going to take that consultation. And then getting into any kind of a financial long-term decisions will definitely be a reassurance for you. At least you won't regret. There are something which, there are people who it didn't fructify certain purchases, right? It could be a homeland or it could be anything that they have purchased, gone ahead, decided and purchased, it didn't work. But you might want to look at the components missed element there. Suppose you are able to fill that element, still there are something which is not working. That's not in your control, but at least you won't have a resentment. Okay, so this is all we are working towards. Now let's talk about 5 actionable brain tips. Okay, how are you going to handle this? So what you're going to do is you're going to apply this technique for your left brain. So for your left brain, it allows you to first of all logically drive and gives you any structure. So what you're going to do is you're going to set your clear priorities. That's your left brain. Okay, it's actually called left brain. All right. So it allows you to focus on the impact. You're going to identify the task with higher importance and urgency, thereby eliminating the unnecessary options. You're going to remove choices that don't align with your goals. And you're going to create a priority list, organize task-based importance and deadlines. Okay. These are some strategies. Okay. When I say strategies, these are all tested, time tested. Okay. All you have to do is just apply to see whether it's working or not. But if you start asking why this and why after this, it'll be an endless topic. So these are strategies for your brains. All you have to do is just apply to see it. So that's for your first left brain. And then comes right brain. You're going to take breaks for clarity. Okay. You're going to recognize stress. Identify when you're feeling overwhelmed by a decision. What you're going to do is you're going to immediately step away. See, yesterday when I was doing a case study for yesterday's episode about Steve Jobs, I even discussed yesterday. So he has a technique where he has something called 10-minute break. That means within 10 minutes, if he cannot decide on anything, he will immediately step, get up from his chair, from his place, wherever he is, he goes for a walk. So the more he walks, he contemplates either with nature or just within himself, he gets that enough break and comes back and decide. Okay. Similarly, just short break. It could be anything, jumping jacks, or just listening to some music, energizing yourself, or take deep breath. Just take, sometimes even drinking water can energize you. It could be a dehydration which can bother you. Okay. Or getting sun, that will brighten your day. So then returning refreshed will help you approach the decision with a renewed clarity and calmness. Okay. Then it is your left brain again. You're going to simplify your choices. You're going to write down all valuable choices for your decision. You're going to evaluate those alignment, considering each option fitting your goals and values. Once you kind of know what are the options, you're going to evaluate them based on the metrics we just spoke. And you're going to eliminate the misaligned options. That is a key step here. You just cannot see. That's why I said key sources. If you want a calmness, if you want to be reduced, having a reduced stress and making that choices very effective, you need to let it go. If you stick on with some perfection syndrome that or some greediness that you cannot, you want this, you want that, you want that also. It's not about money. It's like simply the want of having everything that will drain you off, that will put you into burnout. So you should learn to say no. Okay. Then comes using deeper breathing techniques. That's your right brain again. You're going to breathe in intensely, inhale deeply, and for a count of 4 or 3 or whatever it is, you by now know a lot of things are available in the Google. So just check. There are YouTube videos which can help you calming breathing techniques. Okay. I always suggest for box breathing. I also have a reel which talks about box breathing. I'll share that if it is possible. Then there's something called breathe out. Okay. First of all, hold it and then breathing out. When you exhale, right, just be with the breath. And there's another technique that I can share with you. If you can be conscious about your breath, it's like a short intervals. Maybe you can keep a reminder, okay? Just for 2 minutes, every 1 hour or 2 hour once, if that reminder can help you to remind you to be conscious about your breath for 2 minutes. Being conscious about your breath gives you immense effect. I just cannot tell you. There are so many list of advantages about that. It's a different experience. It is easier than said done. I clearly understand, but it takes practice. Once you have this practice working well with you, you can master. I mean, you can, in fact, you can manifest what you want because things can come in under your control. This is more of a yoga related spirituality practices, but this has to be in a daily, practice. And consulting trusted advice. I just gave you an example where you just don't jump into conclusion, especially for a bigger choices. You take your it can be your peer feedback, your working environment. If you're stuck with some process and the deadlines is also rushing, you better speak out your problems. Maybe you never know, somebody can watch you, somebody can help you, trusted people. Or you can approach your manager or anybody, interdepartmental guidance or your HR. And when it is personal life, it is best if you're stuck, if you think, things are going out of control and you do not know, have an experience, it's always best to approach the elders or those people in your like-minded vicinity just to ask how they are, if they have experienced this. That will definitely give you some perspectives. If you don't have that kind of people, it's totally understandable. Not every time we have that kind of people around us. But if you do have, grab hold of them. It could be your friend, it could be your colleague, it could be your own family, extended people, or it could be your neighbor, whoever it is. Or if you really have that kind of spiritual masters, surrender to them. I would rather say, if you don't have anybody, hire a coach. Seek out for a coach or a mentor. Always be under some mentorship in your life, whether it is for health and fitness or your business or your relationship problems, whatever it is, be under a coach. Because when you pay somebody, I know it is a money exchange there, it's an energy exchange there, they're going to be trusted for you. It is, they're bound to deliver their services. So there is no, going back and forth in it, as long as you find the right kind of people. Okay. Then this is most interesting, and we are nearly reaching the end of the section. But the last one would be on the case study of Oprah Winfrey, talking about certain people related to this topic really gives immense pleasure for me because I learn from these people who are successful in their expertise and who have gone through. They have their own story, right? If you take, for example, Oprah Winfrey, have her own story. You all know that she's one of the most, of course, renowned. What do you call it? We all know her. She's a famous American talk show commentary. She started with a commentator job and then she hosted her own show. That's where she got skyrocketed. She's a famous influencer right now, talking for women, encouraging women initiatives, and huge influencer in America. But she has her own story. Okay, her resilience. Okay, overcoming the adversity. Her childhood story is very tough. The background, the brought up was not as expected, and she went to juvenile center. She couldn't manage certain things, and then she came out. She studied, graduated herself. Looks like she's really good at excellent at academics. With that, such adversity also, she came up like that, and then she mothered. She was a parent, but then she went through her own bit of, single teenage mothering without any much support. In fact, she was fired from her own company, where she later on skyrocketed as a TV host itself. So, with such adversity background behind them, what could be their mentality and what could be their way of leading life? How is their brain talents helping them? Sometimes the adversity can, eat you up. Your brilliance will not come up to surface, right? But there are people who work under pressure. Adversity actually helps them to create that kind of life they want. So in her case, the brain skills, like their logical brain approach is it allowed her to, have a structured planning. She used the structure to process and managing her business ventures because she holds a different business ventures right now, but it has taken that many years for her, okay, for her to arrive at that success that she always manifested. She always wanted to be a famous personality during her childhood, but right now she's manifested it. I mean, there is a process, there is a journey for everybody. So her logical brain approached her to structure certain things in her life, okay, and thereby she is also an empathetic. She's deeply, fondly loved by her fans because the way she connects with the host, with the guest, right? So when they come to her host show, they feel totally comfortable because of this lady's the emotional connection that she builds. They open up, the guests open up really well. Why? Because Oprah taps into her emotional intelligence, emotional awareness to align her clients with her of her core values. Okay. So she brings the superpower in her because she was able to align with her core values. She she she's one of the most authentic host we have ever seen. That is why her guest always feels easy. In fact, she became famous right after an interview with Michael Jackson. She got a call from Michael Jackson after a long gap. Michael Jackson came up, opened up only on her show. Okay, so that is a turning point for her. So from this, what I may understand is her talent is first is empathy. So decisions coming from understanding our audience emotional needs. This is exactly what I've been telling you in the previous episodes also. When we started talking about emotional insight and empathy, even in parenting, if you can understand the emotional impact of your child, there you go. Things after that, if you can address that, the child will also be in alignment with you, and you will also be seamlessly rendering what you're supposed to do. It's the same way with office also. I mean, doesn't mean that there is no more stigma talking about emotions or the stress or burnout. There's no more stigma anywhere because we are dealing with mental health problems right now. More than ever, it is needed to be emotionally intelligent. So please practice empathy and do what it takes to understand that emotional impact. First of all, you also need to take care of your impact, your emotional residue, right? If you can manage that well, you will be able to manage the other person well. And then about visionary thinking, she combines the creativity with the structure for a long term impact. She always wanted to be famous, and she knows that in a matter of time, with that kind of risk tolerance and her patience and perseverance, she connect. with her authentic power. And she stayed in the game for a long time. She never quit, despite of having all that adversities. So that has given her to make a long-term impact. So authentic leadership is the way forward. So she leads by example that way, prioritizing stress-free decision making. Okay. Now, when it comes to Elon Musk, I just want to combine Elon Musk, what do you call it, his pro nature when it comes to dealing with decision making. I just cannot say enough about this person because world is right now witnessing his innovations and his level of taking risk. And looks like he opens up project and he involves the project where the no Elon Musk kind of people right now, not only him, people are the world is driving towards these successful entrepreneurs where they are picking up projects where they are very sure 80% they will fail. Imagine only for the 20% they are even creating any initiatives, all their decision making, everything is churned out to that. And they're turning the 20% chances to 80%. So that level of decisions they have to take, that level of innovations they have to make, that level of tolerance they have to build. Okay. So I'm so intrigued to, every now and then when I do a case study, I'm so intrigued to understand their brain power. So with Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, he is known for his ability to make bold decisions, right? In a high pressure industries. Imagine he has brought space to accessible for mankind. Uh, you know, of course, Jeff Bezos is also working on it, and even Meta is coming out for all that, space related ones. But imagining, look at the Tesla car. Okay, how did he combine the future expectations from the customers and from environmental perspective? So he stuck with that, right? Using the battery powered car, thereby energy reducing. That is a different thing. How long, what are the integrities, nitty-gritties behind it? But let's not get into it. But the idea of innovating industries like that. So that is where, despite the enormous stakes in it, he uses a combination of logic and emotional insight to reduce that stress, to make it effective decisions. How does it happen? Let's talk about his, left brain skills. So quickly, even though I don't have a PPT on him, but that I just want to let you know that his left brain is data-driven analytic brain, where he heavily relies on data and logic to inform his decisions. Thereby, there is no stress because once you have the concrete data, people have to just go with that. But he also fuses with his emotional resilience. Okay, that's what is allowing him to manage stress effectively, especially when the stakes are high. Of course, using his emotional insight, he connects with the well-being of employee who's working with them. Okay, so his top abilities is resilience and focus, intense focus, and the ability. First of all, resilience is high ability to handle the high stress environment without getting overwhelmed. That is what is enabling him to make that impactful decisions. And his intense focus is also helping him to make a long-term goals, which allows him to take a clear decisions. Even if it is short-term challenges or limiting beliefs, that is what is helping. So strategic and combination of strategic and a resilient leadership is what is the take for our guy, Elon Musk. Okay. That being said, some actionable hacks for you. In case you're thinking, how can I use all this? I'm going to give you some actionable hacks. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to practice stress relief techniques, first of all. You need to regulate your own emotions first, for which you need to identify. You need to notice physical signs like shoulders, tense shoulders, racing thoughts, shallow breathing, frowning, or some pressure over here, or throughout your body. You need to understand where that intense energy is flowing through. Okay. That is what is holding you back. And then you need to find out a technique to release all of them because, either you do a box breathing or you're deep breathing or relaxing or releasing, whatever it is, make sure that you release that intense energy. Take that quality break, whether it is short term or mid-term, it's still okay. Every week, you might want to take one day off. We're all churning towards four day a week, schedules. We used to be 24 hours 7, and then it went on to Saturday, Sunday. Right now, it's only 4 days. So there's going to be a future trend. Okay. So the third one is applying before decision, right? Creating that pause. Apply that pause. I told you Steve Jobs just walks off if he cannot decide something within 10 minutes. take that quality break, pause button, step away, practice that chosen technique, and return with a cleaner mindset. Okay. Then you're going to have a confidence building. How? You're going to start small. Practice that stress-free techniques on minor daily decisions. Apply that and reflect on its whether it's serving you or not. And then you're going to apply it on a bigger decisions. Thereby, you're going to balance the logic and emotion. How? By logical analysis, you're going to use your data facts to inform that decision making. And then you're going to also do an emotional check-in, both within yourself and for others. So consider each option making you feel emotionally. How are you emotionally attached or attracted or aligned? Aligned is a word. So if you're not emotionally aligned, then you shouldn't do it. Okay. That doesn't mean you're too, emotionally aligned that you're missing to objectively approach in terms of how much is your time spent there? Is it even practical? Or how much are you spending money there? That has to be backed up by your logical structure. With the logical structure, if you can passionately be attached to any process, I think the result will be a blend of it, because there has to be an integrated approach combined with logical analysis with that of your emotional intuition for balanced decision. Thereby the stress is already gone there. Yesterday, if you have seen it, attaching or aligning with your core values, half the problem gets solved there. But you need to also be very careful that too much of attachment is also not needed. So you need to go through that episode to understand where are the missing elements. Okay. Then talking about creating a decision-making routine. How can you do? Simple. Set aside timing. Dedicate that chunk of hours. For example, when I started doing this and I wanted to do this, it was very, very overwhelming for me. It was like big one. But then I slowly broken down the steps. Initially, I only created the titles of what I want to do for 100 days. And then I went on to script. And then I decided what time of the day. Okay. I decided based on my availability initially. And then I wasn't worried about the viewership or the what do you call the followers and all that in the beginning. It is for me how passionate I am and what is the intent of me doing. That was very clear in me. And then slowly I started adding certain things. Okay. Then I started adding podcast. So thereby I and expanded the platforms also based on the structure of my timing, bandwidth that I get. Okay. Slowly, the ones which was earlier complex, it becomes in control in me, and it gives me enough bandwidth because I'm becoming efficient in it. And thereby I see a good bandwidth available for me to try on other things. Okay. So this setting aside this particular timing, even my family is prepared. So they know very clearly that I will be in this particular timing. I will be preparing for YouTube Live and a podcast. Okay. Simultaneously. So preparing your space accordingly also will reduce that stress. Not only your time, you're also the space. Okay. And then following your process. Use that chosen stress-free techniques only consistently. Thereby, you largely, one is the outcome, that is for sure. Second thing is, at least you will not regret and you don't leave the residue in your physicality, or, if you're too stressed out, you're too burnout. What is the whole point of starting something, right? You will never go back to that experience at all because you've already got a bitter experience. You wouldn't want to do that, right? And then finally, I would like to tell you, there needs to be a continuous improvement for which you need to be consistently doing this, having a review of your earlier decisions, analyze the pattern, analyze the outcome of your decisions and see whether it is giving you that stress-free effect of it or not. Then identify the areas of growth, recognize the aspect of your process that feels refinement, and then adjust your techniques. You need to be adaptive, either to situations or to future trends or to market trends or to your customers needs or to your team development or to technological advancement. Whatever it is, you need to be ready to adapt as long as it is serving the purpose. Okay. Then at this point of time, if you have any questions like this or anything more, I truly understand. And I have a gift for you. Okay. For you to identify how well are you taking your breaks? How well are you feeling overwhelmed? I mean, you are able to overcome the overwhelmed, or are you consulting with others, or you're very stuck within yourself? You're very adamant that you don't want to network and gain some ideas. What will help you to overcome that? How well are you prioritizing your choices? How well are you breaking your complexity, all these questions you will have, and I can help you with a tool called EQ Quest Bundles. So all these episodes, I'm framing this as a questionnaire for you. So you can assess it, right away. When I say, you will find a questionnaire because 10 questionnaire or 20 questionnaire for each episode, where you will find the right answer and the wrong answer. The moment you will gain the scores, you will know what are the areas of improvement and what are your strengths. Along with that, you will also find 2, 3 tips for each and every question. So the questionnaire itself can give you a lot of insights. Imagine for 100 episodes, I need to prepare this kind of a questionnaire. It's going to take a little more time, but there is a link in the description below where you can register from there. So the moment you get registered, you will get an access for its lifetime, but provided you give me an insight about, you give me a comment about what you learned as an insight. So if you can share your insights in the comment box, I will, spot you as a winner, and I will offer a 100% free coupon code for you. Otherwise, it is going to be a cost because I'm going to be preparing 100 quizzes for a lifetime. Anybody can take any number of times. So that means there has to be a energy exchange. The time, energy and money is involved in it. So thereby, it is out there for a cost, but I'm going to give it to you free of cost if you want to provide your insights and give me that inspiration. When I look at the comment, it is not only by inspiration for me, it is also inspiration for others. They will also come to know that these are some learnings. With that, I will give you this access for free. And there is an EQ brain skills workshop for women. If you're watching this and you really want to go deeper, I'll tell you how in a fun way and in a very intense and concrete data driven workshop where although it is emotional intelligence, we're talking about emotions, but backed up by data. That is how you can understand your brain style effect, right? So we'll pick up a sample report and we will dissect all that data point. Thereby, when you finish the workshop, you're very clear in what you have to align. And I will also tell you how you can get your personalized brain style report. And finally, I would like to tell you, if you really like this kind of an episode, please do give me your like and love symbol there. And most importantly, also share it with somebody whom you think it's most needed. And I wanted to remember that decision making is not a, it's not a what do you call it? It's not a skill, or it's not something that you want to do only for one day and leave it. Because every day we take decisions. As an average, there are 3,000 plus decisions that an individual takes it. So our decisions on a lifetime, on a daily basis also shapes our life. Thereby, our long-term decisions will definitely not only shape our life, also it's going to impact the other people around us. So if you want to become an effective decision maker, continue watching these episodes on decision making. And of course, there are other episodes we have done on different skill set. If you still haven't subscribed to YouTube channel, do so. You will get notified. And there is a podcast coming on Spotify. Links is given below. And there are EQ blogs, reels, everything is there out there for free of cost. Anybody can use it because EQ is relatable, needed for anybody, irrespective of age or gender or culture, whoever it is. Okay. That being, what I want to tell you is by reducing that stress while you're taking decision is not only going to help you, it is also going to help others. It will help you reduce the impact of your physical, emotional, mental, sometimes even financial impact. Okay, it won't have a residue effect on it. So you're going to make choices that improve your future, that is going to empower others also with you. I'll see you with another interesting episode on decision making tomorrow. Stay tuned.